joining us again for another episode of the Real Estate Morning Show. Today we're going to be focusing a lot on the stats from the Toronto Real Estate Board that just got released.
That's right.
Dylan's going to be covering those, and we're going to be talking about the York Region's request for an additional land transfer tax. So why don't we jump right in with the stats, and then we'll get to the tax stuff later.
We'll do the fun stuff first, find out where the numbers are at.
Exactly.
So, average price did go up last month. We're now sitting at $807,340 compared to last month's $796,786.
Okay.
And the previous year at $780,400. So we did see a nice bump year over year, which is always important. That's the stuff you're going to be reading about in all the news articles.
Yeah, it's even a nice jump from last month. It's nice to see a healthy growth like that.
Yeah, like over like 11,000 bucks over last month. That's a very healthy number compared to before where we used to see 30 and 40 and 100,000 depending on what neighborhood you're in.
Yeah.
So that's a nice healthy
it's good to see.
Healthy boost. And again, if you look at our year over year chart that I'll throw up, it looks like just back to normal, back to what we would expect to see in terms of growth in the year over year.
Yeah.
Which is nice and healthy. And when we take a look at our sales numbers, we got a nice little bump there as well. We did 7,492 sales for the month of October, which is a 6% increase compared to October 2017.
Okay.
We talked about this one a little bit before because we said, hey, with the interest rate being raised, are we going to see a bunch of people come out? I think we did about 1,000 sales more than we did in September.
Okay.
So that's not bad.
That's pretty good.
September to October last year was about 700 something sales increase. So
we're
only 300 more than what we saw without a rate increase.
Right, and then
I don't think
on top of that, September was oddly low.
And was oddly low,
so,
exactly.
I mean, if you readjusted that, there probably wasn't much difference.
Exactly. Right. So we're still not seeing exactly what we want in terms of sales volume, but that increase of 6% over the previous year.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Pretty good, not bad at all.
Yeah.
And I do have one quote here from Treb's Director of Market Analysis, and I think it's kind of relevant, a little bit of insight for us. He says, annual sales growth has outstripped annual growth in new listings for the last 5 months, underpinning the fact that listing supply remains an issue in the Greater Toronto Area. With municipal elections in the rearview mirror, all levels of government need to concentrate on policies that could remove impediments to a better supplied housing market, including facilitating the development of a broader array of medium-density housing choices. Not the first time we've heard talk of medium-density housing being an important issue.
Yeah.
But him talking about the sales outpacing our new listings in terms of that ratio, that usually means a tightening of the market.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully what that means is that, and I mean, we can dig a little deeper into this for specific neighborhoods. Like if you're out there and you want some information, it's not something we can get into on this kind of a format. But, it would be interesting to see over the last few months how much those gaps have started to close in regarding to the amount of inventory. Because I know when we talked about this a few months ago, Richmond Hill had the most inventory. I think it was about 5 months.
Yeah.
And then Aurora and Newmarket were around the 3-month mark, and the core, the city, was around 2 months. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I would love to explore that a little more and see
maybe on
what
our
does that mean.
Next episode we'll bring that back up.
Yeah.
And again, this is just looking at the overall numbers, right? So if you look at the 905, where we still see sales being really slow, really low, I think most of this is getting picked up in the condo market and the Toronto market itself, as opposed to the surrounding regions.
Yeah, I think right now the condo market is just on fire, right, from everything we're seeing. And then when, tying that into the medium density housing, again, I think something we referenced in the summer, where we were saying people were getting sick of the big towers, and there was a push for that more medium density where maybe you get a bit more space, but it's that in-between of not a detached, so it's more affordable. And if we are starting to see that show up in the numbers, and that makes perfect sense, right? That would be where the push is. So.
Yeah, exactly. And so what we're going to look at is just a couple of average prices across the GTA, so you have a little snapshot of what's going on. So let's start with the condo. We're only going to look at one condo on the list, and we're going to talk about Central Toronto. We're going to talk about not Toronto overall, right down in the core. Average price now is $674,252. Quite a nice price there.
That number still blows my mind. I mean, it's been happening over time,
but
I see it and it's crazy.
To imagine compared to even when we look back at what we used to sell them for.
Yeah, when condos first became a main element of the market, and I mean they were always around, but when it became more of an affordability option even then.
Yeah.
You know, I know you say this often too about those wartime bungalow style homes in Richmond Hill when you first started in the market, how low they were, and then, you know, they're hitting 1 point. You know, it's crazy to get your head around. I think it was 1.6 at one point.
Yeah.
They were reaching. And it's just like, how do you, you know, it doesn't always make sense.
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying to say.
And the first one I sold was $350.
Yeah.
It's $350 in 2007. So.
Yeah. And that's what I was just thinking with the condos. I think most of the ones I did when I first started were like 300, 305, 320. Slowly over time has grown up, but I never thought I'd see it hit 675. That's crazy.
Wild.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to jump over to the west end of Toronto, and for a detached there, you're looking at 1,138,000. A semi over there, 841,000. Not bad. Yeah. Now we'll hop over to the east end, where a detached we're looking at 898,000, and a semi we're looking at 949,000.
Yeah.
We checked those numbers twice. That's just how it is in the West End.
East End.
East End, East End.
Yeah. And we talked about it a little bit because we were kind of like, that can't be right. But when we kind of started to think about it more, realized that, you know, the market over there, the types of homes are very different.
Exactly.
And there are a lot of semi-homes, and a lot of the new builds are semi-style homes where builders are buying the old bungalows, knocking them down, and then building the two
semis,
instead. So, I mean, it sounds really obscure, but it actually, when you know the
makes
landscape,
sense for the area.
It makes a lot of sense. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Now we're going to head north, and we're going to take a look at Richmond Hill, where a detached home is 1,382,000. This is actually down a little bit from last month, so you know they're not out of it yet. Yeah. Townhome in Richmond Hill, 818,000. We'll go a little bit further north to Aurora, where a detached home is 1,106,000, and a townhome 709,000.
Okay, so I mean, not a huge change really in most of those areas across the board. It's pretty solid.
Nothing drastic. And again, you know, if you're looking at buying a townhome in Aurora, expect to spend around 7. You're getting a little bit closer to, you know, 8, just above 8 in Richmond Hill.
Yeah.
And the detached in Richmond Hill, you know, 1.3 gets you a pretty nice little spot.
Yeah. And we were chatting about that earlier too, and saying, you know, because I was bringing up the point, I'm like, it's weird to me that a detached in the city is lower. And I mean, we're talking West End, East End versus
we're not talking the core.
We're not talking the core.
Yeah.
However, it's still weird in my brain to be like, well, why is it so much more? And you made the really good point that a lot of the homes, especially all the newer stuff being built consistently in Richmond Hill right now, is all large, very, very luxury, custom style
homes,
properties. So it makes sense that, you know, the square footage plus then the quality of the finishes that you're getting, right? So,
on average, you're getting a way more modern and larger scale home in Toronto than you are in the East End or the West End of the city. Yeah, and so that'll put a pin in it for our stats update. If you want to hear about a specific area or segment, just let us know. We'd be happy to talk about it. And if you want to know specifically about your neighborhood, reach out to us directly and we can talk to you privately.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why don't we hop over to that tax article we've been reading about?
Yeah, the land transfer tax. York Region have been requesting and put a request in that they wanted to add a land transfer tax. Essentially what they wanted to do is emulate what Toronto did. So the car taxes, I think liquor taxes, cigarette taxes, house land tax, they wanted to add a second regional tax to the region in order to help fund some of the infrastructure that's going to be required over the next basically 20 years to hit the mandate of adding an additional 700,000 people in the area by, I believe it was 2041.
2041, I think.
So the government has put this mandate on York Region, and York Region is like, well, how are we going to pay for that? So this is what they wanted. The good news is that it's been in Queen's Park, and basically it's been shut down. They said absolutely not. You know, they don't feel that the right way to approach this is to add more tax to the taxpayers, that there's already too much issue. The taxpayers are already kind of kicking up about the amount of tax we have to pay to begin with, and they just felt like this wasn't the right way to go around about it, which also means that the good news here is they're also not going to be increasing our property taxes or anything like that in order to supplement the no to the land transfer tax. So across the board for homeowners, people who are thinking about buying up here, good news. You don't have this second tax. You know, the biggest hit was always the homes. However, there is still going to have to be some sort of avenue created in order to accommodate the cost of all this additional infrastructure that they want to build. They're talking about extending the subway, the Young Line subway, right up through to Richmond Hill, and there's quite a bit of development that they're looking at doing. So, you know, as York Region is currently running a pretty significant deficit, trying to figure out where to get this money from is going to be a big topic for the next couple of years. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But so far, for now, the taxpayers are still safe. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Probably
safe.
won't be long.
Yeah,
but,
safe for now.
Yeah.
I think that's the right move. I think specifically when you're looking at real estate, because it's a real estate show, the 905 has been hit pretty hard. Our sales volume is down, prices are down. If you add an additional tax on top of that, I think that's just going to further happen that rebound.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad that at this moment in time it's not being done. If they want to reevaluate it when the market comes back stronger, that's great. The problem with that always is once the tax is implemented, it's not going anyway. It's not going away.
No.
They've got that money. They start spending it, right? And so I think what's going on here, they're being told, hey, you got money coming in. Find ways to spend it better.
Yeah.
I'm all for that. I think that's a great thing. But it is going to come down to it. They are going to need more money, and it's going to come from somewhere. I don't think our property taxes will be safe. I think we will see an increase there. Yeah. They're just looking for now for permission to start new taxes. Yes. I think the old ones they got at their disposal, I think we're probably going to see an increase at some point based on the numbers that they're talking about.
Yeah, and they do reference in here at some point the regional portion of the property tax bill would have to go up to about 13 or 17% a year in order to match what they were trying to get with the land transfer tax. And then they go on to say to lighten, any taxpayers' concerns here that that's not going to be a thing that happens. Obviously, they're not going to increase them by that much. Mm-hmm. However, it is going to be something that we'll potentially have to keep an eye on.
Yeah, we're going to see our regular increases for sure, right?
And the other thing that was brought up was, it's a forward government kind of style is, get more efficient and spend your money better and know where your money's going and, cut down on some stuff that you don't need in order to implement the stuff you do. And that's all talked about. It's actually quite a good article. There's a lot of stuff in there. But I think I agree with you. I love your point about the market. We're not fully stable yet. So throwing this on right now probably would have just killed the market for another year at least, I would have anticipated, right? So very, very happy that they didn't do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's a wrap for today. We've got a good amount of content there for you, and I mean, really it'll take us a while to keep digging through all the numbers from the report that just came out, but we'll have them up in the video as well for the next one in our stats banner that goes across. Yeah,
absolutely. And so, thanks again for joining us. And as always, we have shows every Tuesday and Thursday mornings, so don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next ones. If you have any comments, any feedback you'd like to give us, any topics you want us to talk about that we haven't covered yet on the show, please let us know. We love hearing from you guys, and we'd love to cover a topic that you guys request. And other than that, thanks for coming out and have a great day.